Hey everyone, my name's Dustin with Symmetry Personal Training. I wanted to make this video today to everyone that doesn't know me, to kind of put a little bit more information out there about who I am, where I came from, and what I'm doing these days in the fitness industry. And for those of you that do know me, I wanted to explain a little bit more detail that you may not know about why I left the fitness industry in the first place and what's really bringing me back to it. So first of all, before I get into it, I just want to thank everyone that sent me messages over the past couple weeks as I'm getting back into the fitness industry. I'm hearing from a lot of guys that I worked with in the past. You guys have been super encouraging, and I really appreciate that. This has been a really hard transition for me, so it's been really cool to hear from you guys, so thank you so much. And one of those text messages is actually the reason I'm making this video today, to answer his question. I think it's important for everybody to know. So basically he asked me what the heck I was doing, and why I'm getting back into the fitness industry, because I told him years ago I would never get back into the fitness industry. So I want to kind of expand on all of that a little bit. So we'll get right into it. For those of you that don't know me, I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I stayed there until the end of high school, and then I moved out here to Dallas. Most of my childhood, in fact all of my childhood, my life revolved around baseball. Baseball was everything to me. My entire family was into baseball, and so that was my life. And unfortunately, baseball builds a lot of muscle imbalances, which I'll get into more detail a little bit later. But basically, I was a left-handed pitcher, and 15 years of rotating your body in one direction is typically going to build some pretty major muscle imbalances, and that resulted in some injuries that I'll touch on in just a bit. My move to Dallas was right after high school. My brother, my parents all lived out here. They were all in the fitness industry. So naturally, I ended up in the fitness industry pretty quickly after I moved here. Now at the time, and some of you may already know this, my brother Dylan was a bodybuilder, and being his little brother and always kind of following what he was doing, that's where I wanted to go when I moved out here. I was going to be a bodybuilder. That was my life plan. Most of you that have seen me, or if you've even seen a picture of me, could tell very quickly I am not built to be a bodybuilder. I'm not a big guy, and my frame wouldn't hold that much mass in the first place. So it wasn't ever going to actually happen, but at the time I was young, and that's what I wanted to do. So that's kind of where I went towards. It did not last long at all. Maybe 6 months of training, trying to put on muscle mass, and I suffered a pretty bad back injury that ended all of it right then and there, and I quickly realized that was not ever going to happen for me. So I moved on from there. Fortunately, that back injury is kind of what built the foundation of what I do in the fitness industry. So after the back injury, obviously I needed to rehab the back injury. I needed to deal with it. I needed to get to where I could move properly again. And so that led me into getting certified with National Academy of Sports Medicine in corrective exercise. And since then, everything I've done in the fitness industry, even though I've run a lot of different types of programs, the core of what I do with my clients has always been corrective exercise. I fully believe in the techniques used in that program, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. So with the back injury, and I also had some shoulder issues from pitching for so many years, corrective exercise, for those of you that don't know what that is, essentially what we do is we look at human movement. We find deviations or dysfunction in the body, and we start to identify what muscles are overactive, what muscles are underactive that are causing those imbalances. And we develop a program to fix those by isolating those muscles first and then integrating that back into full body movements. So essentially, we find where your body's not working properly and we fix it. So that's kind of in a nutshell what corrective exercise is. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than just that, but that will maybe be for a later video. I'll get into a little more detail, but for the purpose of this video, I want to stay on track with my notes here. So moving on into why I left the fitness industry. So that was the question my buddy texted me, and it really made me think, because for a long time I didn't really know why I left the fitness industry. It just kind of happened. We had an opportunity to move out to Colorado, and we kind of just dropped everything and left, and I ended up having a job to become a painter, of all things, just kind of fall in my lap. Fortunately, that entire experience was really awesome. I really enjoyed being in the painting industry. When we moved back here, my wife and I opened up a painting company, and we've been doing that for the last 5 or 6 years. It was really fun. We really enjoyed it. We learned a lot. But now I'm getting back to where I actually belong. So back to the point, the reason I left the fitness industry, as simply as I can put it, I couldn't deal with the stress of owning a business anymore. At the time, we owned our own gym, and I had been on anxiety medications for most of my life, and I wanted to come off. I attempted to come off several times. It just didn't work because I couldn't deal with the stress, and I just flat out burned out. And at the time, I thought I had burned out on the fitness industry, but what I'm realizing now is it was business ownership. I just can't deal with the stress of owning a business. Those of you that do it, I have so much respect for you. I'm just not the kind of person that can do it, so I'm getting away from that. I don't plan on ever owning a company again, and so that's kind of what took me out of the fitness industry. Now, over the years, I've had some more experiences that I'll talk about here in just a minute that have led me to realize that the real problem was business ownership. It was not the fitness industry. I do believe that I am meant to be in the fitness industry. It's where my real passion is. Even though I kind of took a detour for a few years, I was still always involved in fitness. And so I really truly feel like I'm back where I belong now, and we're really excited about this whole adventure we're on at the moment. Now, getting to why I'm getting back into the fitness industry specifically, and the experiences that kind of led me here. So, as I mentioned, I was on anxiety medications for about 16 years of my life. For a long time, I've wanted to come off of them, and I just couldn't do it. I had so much trouble. And so, about 3 years ago, I decided I was done. I was getting off of them. I was going to figure it out. And so I found a great psychiatrist that was willing to work with me and help me get off of them. And so over the next year and a half, we slowly weaned off. I went through a lot of therapy, working with a counselor, and I did successfully come off of the medication. I've been off for about 2 years. However, as I was coming off, I started to develop some very strange health issues with my stomach. And without getting into a lot of crazy detail, because it's really not important for this video, essentially what was happening is my stomach was not digesting food, and so my stomach would swell. I mean, massive swelling, to the point where I couldn't breathe. I was having chest pains. I felt like somebody was strangling me all the time. I was having panic attacks due to all of this. I was just absolutely miserable. I ended up in the hospital a few times with it. I had to sleep on this ridiculous wedge pillow thing in my bed for about 6 months because I couldn't breathe when I laid down. So just absolutely miserable. And over about a year, no doctor was able to figure out exactly what was going on. They ran all the tests, nothing showed up. And so I began to kind of go back to my knowledge of health and try and figure out what was going on. And really, what it all came down to is I just couldn't deal with stress anymore. Now, whether that's from something that being on the medication for that long caused, or coming off of it caused, or it's just the way that I am and I never realized it because I was always on medication, I don't really know. What I do know is if I don't figure out a way to deal with the stress that I have to deal with in everyday life, my stomach swells up and I'm absolutely miserable and my health falls apart. And so, what I've realized through all of this is having all of this happen has forced me to become extremely disciplined with my own health. And I'm talking sleep routines, diet, training program, water intake, daily mobility, mental health practices. I have very specific routines for every single one of these things, and if I skip even one day of any of them or I mess them up, I eat at the wrong time, I eat the wrong thing, I stay up too late, I don't get up early enough, any of them, if I mess up, my stomach immediately starts to swell and I'm miserable for usually 3 or 4 days. And that's still happening today. So it's forced me to have to make these things a priority. And what I've realized, and really what's getting me back into the fitness industry, is I've never been a very disciplined person when it comes to all of these things. Like most of you, I've always struggled eating the right things. I've always struggled staying consistent, getting in the gym and getting my workouts. I've always struggled staying up too late watching TV or wanting to sleep in the morning. None of these things were really a priority for me until they had to be. So I understand what it's like to struggle with those things. However, being on this end of it now, I now fully realize the reality that without keeping these things a priority in your life, there is no possibility of you getting to the best shape of your life. Your health suffers when these things are not a priority. And again, I understand that it's extremely difficult to get a lot of these things in order and keep them as a priority. But I'm here to tell you that if you really want to get in shape and you really want to get serious about taking control of your health, these things have to be a priority. And so what I'm wanting to do now is I'm wanting to use these experiences that I've been through and help people develop these routines, develop these daily habits that really do create an environment for you to be in the best shape of your life, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. And I definitely understand that it's going to be a lot tougher for those of you that aren't forced to do it by your health. But what I really want to help people with is realizing that if you don't make these things a priority and you don't take control of your health now, eventually you're going to end up in the same boat that I was in, where you're going to be forced to, because your health's going to fall apart if you don't. So if I can help people get to that point where they can make these things a priority and take control of their health before they get to that point, that's really what I want to do. And so that's kind of where I'm going with all of this. That's why I got back into the fitness industry. I'm really excited to be here again, and just looking forward to working with anybody that needs the help. So if you guys have any kind of questions or requests on videos you'd like me to make addressing anything regarding health, leave a comment down below. I'd be happy to make a video for it. I am by no means a professional YouTuber, so I'm not going to be doing this a lot. But if you guys have questions, or you're just wondering something, or you need some help with something involving your health, leave a comment down below. I'd be happy to make a video about it, and share whatever I have for you on that. If you guys would like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, I really appreciate it. Really appreciate all the support from you guys. Thank you so much. I will leave some links on the screen at the end of this video with my website. There's lots more information there, as well as a link to my scheduling page for a free fitness assessment. So if this video has inspired any of you to make a change, you really want to get control of your health, you want to start working on these daily routines, these daily habits, and once and for all get full control over your health, sign up, click the link, sign up for a free assessment. Come in and see me, and let's go through your movements. Let's see how your body moves. Let's see what your goals are, and let me show you the program that I can put together to start getting control of all these things, and let's get your health back in order. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Thank you for all the messages recently. It really does help. Like I said, this has been a really tough transition for me, and it really helps to know you guys have my back. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys in the gym soon. Until next time, see you guys later.